And I have to wait for my phone to start recording before I talk. So today I'm starting this video looking like mommy. Somebody just addressed me as mommy before I came to sit down, and do a story time on my channel today. Sorry you heard. Did you even hear the dog bark? But just in case you heard that, I'm really, really sorry. I apologize. Una they really dey do well for this channel. All you people are doing is God I will judge all of you. I uploaded a video so people cannot go and watch it. I'm seeing 6 views. My God will judge you. My God will judge. Now I'm begging you people to watch, right? A time will come when you'll be begging me. You will come to my DM and ask me on Instagram. It's been a while we saw you on YouTube. What's going on? Please upload content for us now. That time will come. No, don't watch me, oh. Don't watch me now. But that time will come, I assure you. I know that. Why will I be angry? Angry. Why will I be angry? I've got a story to tell you guys. This story was, beaten out of boredom. I didn't know what to do with my life. My nephew had gone to school, and basically, I've been brainstorming on content to shoot. But you know what? I'm not going to let the fact that you people have refused to watch, because I've asked you what do you want to see on this channel. You refuse to talk. I'm not going to let that discourage me of putting out content here on YouTube, because there's a reason why I started this YouTube channel in the first place. So I'm not going to get discouraged. So this story time was beaten out of boredom. I looked and I sat down and I said, what did I want to do in my life? I'm really bored. Let me create content today. And nothing really too serious. Let's just sit down and let me tell you how I was robbed. I entered one chance. I would not call them kidnapper, but I do not know what they are called in English. But here in Nigeria, we call them one chance. Basically, when you board a bus to your destination, you board a wrong bus. And then you discover that the people who are in the bus are armed robbers. Do you understand? And sometimes they can be kidnappers, but for the most part of it, they are not called kidnappers. Kidnappers will kidnap you and detain you and ask for ransom, right? For this. Or sometimes they are ritualists. You can enter or board a wrong bus here in Lagos State, Nigeria, and in most case scenario, usually the passengers are usually jazzed. Okay, let me jazzed is juju. If you don't know what jazz means, that's black magic here. We call it jazz, but it's the English word is black magic. Spell. Yes, that's another word for it. Spell. So most times they use a spell on you so that you will lose your senses, or you'll be subconscious. See, just is subconscious. You will be unconscious. English for a short period of time till you gain consciousness back. So I went for an interview, but let me tell you how it all started. I'm going to tell you how it started, how it happened, when it happened, what led to it, and everything. So let me give a backstory. That's if this video, if my phone does not tell me that space is too much. I plan to film with somebody's phone. That would have been more easier. This phone is having low storage. So let me tell you how it all happened and what led to that, right? Still on the search for a job. So still job hunting that made me feel in the hands of this, armed robbers, in this one chance people. So I was typical jobless Nigerian, lazy Nigerian youth now. So when you're not doing anything here in Nigeria, they tag you as lazy Nigerian youth. So my brother, told me then he wasn't even in Lagos. He sent me a message and said, okay, maybe you can actually work in church, work with them, serve as a volunteer, and you get paid for it. I said, okay, fine. So at that point, I had not joined my church. Yes, I have not changed church. I was still going to the family church, but that was just once in a while. So basically, he brought the offer to me and gave me somebody's number to, sorry, chair is making sound. So he gave me somebody's number to speak to. He gave me a guy's number that I should call and speak to him. And he told me that, he has already spoken to the guy so the guy should be expecting my call, right? And I spoke to him, and then I went there to Lekki on the island. So we have a branch on the island. So apparently that period, my church was actually, hosting a program. There's this program they host yearly. I think it's IPPC. I can't remember. Yes, IPPC. I really can't remember. So So yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I know that they were hosting the program. So our job there is just to work as a volunteer. You volunteer yourself because they need more hands on deck, right? So they need more people to come up for them so that to reduce the workload. And you get paid, you'll be fed. Yes, you have a place to sleep, to lay your head because you don't have to go home every day because of the workload. So basically, it's just to take, members' information and just impute them in the dashboard and just give record. Basically, that's what the whole job is all about. It's just more, you can use your cell phone, you can use your laptop. It's just to track souls. Okay, they'll just give you a list of souls that you just impute their name, their numbers, their country, and it will enter into the soul tracker app. It has an app. Do you understand? That's one thing I actually love about my church, but I'm not a church girl anymore. So yeah, basically, so I started working with them. It was such a great experience. I worked for like 14 days, and I was paid 1,000 naira. Let me just say $1 per day, and because it wasn't really, there was nothing really, the job wasn't really serious, and yeah, we're not doing so much. We were being fed. There was free internet to work with. So when I got paid 14 days after the job, now I have not even enjoyed my salary. I was thinking of just paying my tithe, and then 14,000 naira for 14 days. That's for 2 weeks. Was actually a good money. I'm not going to say really good money, but at least money then had value. Yes, the dollar has not increased here in Nigeria. This happened 2021, so money then had value. So at least 14,000 naira you can actually get value for your money at that point. Okay, during the year 2021, when dollar was still okay, you could get value for your money. So at least there's the value for 14,000 and 40,000 I had value then. So just little value, not so much. So I now took the money, and then I think the guy, after working like a day before I left, the guy was like, he's going to introduce me to somebody that should speak to this person, and yeah, I should tell the person that I'm from him. We did an interview I did not even know what I was at that point in my life. It was when I spoke to the guy. The guy now educated me. It just gave me a brief orientation about when somebody come to you. You do not underprice yourself, okay? In fact, overcharge them. Some of them will want to underprice you, but do not underprice yourself because some people are willing to use you. Okay, same as influencers too. So I said, okay, no problem. And then he now told me, oh, you have an interview on Monday. He sent me a message, you have an interview on Monday at Ikeja, blah, blah, blah. I went there, we spoke. I did not agree. The pay was too small. There was no accommodation. I did not understand how I've been working all the way, going from all the way to Ikorodu down to Ikeja. No accommodation. So what do I have to earn at the end of the month? Still very little, very small. So they said, okay, they will look into it. They'll get back to me. On my way back home, right? On my way back home, I'm not actually conversant or familiar with the environment. So I asked, where am I going to get a bus that is going to Ojota? Did I even ask? Or I asked. I think I asked, and that told me to go and stand one place. I'm going to get a bus. So I saw a car, and the car was like Ojota. Another mistake is, I don't know, maybe it's jazz, or maybe it's the spell. I don't know that it's working, because normally when you want to board a bus, if you see that you're a lady and you do not see any passenger, you'll be scared. It was just the driver and the passenger sitting in front, and there was no passenger. It was just it was actually, I think, was it a Corolla? I don't know. It was a cab. So it was a cab that stopped and said, Ojota. Me, I now entered now. Kolibu, me, I did not know. And then, because I did not know the route all the way from that Ikeja or Omole roundabout, whatever. I don't know if that place is Omole, but Ikeja access. So because I'm not really familiar with the area and I don't know the route that will take me from that place down to Ojota. So I started asking the man, this route that you're following, this is not the route I use. Even if I'm not sure, but I asked. And I noticed that nobody was entering inside the cab, right? My eyes still clear. This man, I said, okay, no, nobody. The passenger was sitting at the back and I was sitting at the front. That's why they started the conversation though. That the man sitting at the back is not feeling too well. When a driver starts holding conversation with you, when you did not ask him, he just kept talking and kept talking and kept talking and just trying to, engage me in conversations. in this conversation. But I'm like, mm, no, now me, I'm somebody who is a bit nice. When I meet new people, I'm very chatty, so I will just drop one or two words and concentrate on my phone. And he started talking to me, telling me things that nobody asked him. I did not care. What's my business with the guy sitting at the back? So it was like, oh, that the guy just came back from Abuja. His boss treated him really bad. That he worked for the man for 7 years. They did not. No, he worked for the man for 7 years. They did not settle him or something like that. But he now said, oh, they not really talking. Now said, oh, I can't really remember what he said. He now said, oh, that he had money in his boot, that whether the man stole the money or the man took the money from his boss or something like that, and they had charm in his bag. In fact, at that moment, I did not even know what was going on. That was how I felt. So they had charm in the bag, and they need to take the money to one Baba that used to do jazz. I used to remove jazz so that they were able to have access to the bag and the money. Blah 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 blah. And the man started telling me stuff that, oh, that you're a fine girl, you don't know what this money will do to you. It will change your life. It will do this one. Still like the man was just saying things it was just getting to me. At this point, I lost. I lost at this point. I've lost my senses, to be very honest. I was just buying and keen to the idea. So mind you, the guy that gave me that contact, that asked me to, that actually scheduled an interview for me at Ikeja, called me. I didn't pick up. I didn't respond. So those people now called me to confirm where I was, and they wanted me to come back. At first, I didn't pick up. I told them, oh, I'm on my way, I'm going on, blah, blah, blah. And they told me, oh, can you come back? I said, okay, let me see if I can. At that point, I was so indecisive. I didn't know if I should, tell the cabman to stop. They had already passed Ikeja access. At this point, we are at ICM. No, we are still at Ikeja, at ICM. And there's actually a checkpoint. Police were actually there. So they said, oh, they even said something to me that they did not want to pass the other side because of traffic, and I don't know, they have cameras, blah, 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 and all of that. So at some point when I wanted to alight from the cab, the man was like, he's not going to force me if I want to alight from the cab, that do I want to miss this opportunity of changing my life, blah, blah, blah. That was how I sat. And they drove, and we started, having conversations. He told me how there's this affair that a sister in the church introduced him to. And I did not know how, in fact, all these things, it never occurred to me that these people were thieves, like they were hand robbers. Because probably maybe I was jazzed. They used the spell on me, right? A lot of people said they used the spell on you. It has happened to a lot of people here in Lagos State. So I'm like, it never occurred to me that how can a sister in your church introduce you to an affair? What's in the occur? What's really happening? What's in the play? You guys understand? So we shall drove now past that ICM, Ikeja City Mall. We now got to Abuleba. And even before we got to Abuleba safe, they called me again. Those people that that interviewed me, they called me again. I did not pick. Even when I picked, I started telling them I'm coming, I'm at Abuleba. They were like, what are you doing at Abuleba? I said, I'm coming, don't worry, I'm coming. So at some point it stopped at Abuleba. I think before we got to Abuleba, right? No, Abuleba, yes, if I'm not mistaken. And they picked a man. They said, it's that man that's going to take us to where we are going to, meet the Baba that is going to, remove the charm, and then we can have access to the money. When we got inside, they asked me to sit at the back with the guy that they said, worked for his boss, and his boss did not say to him, he stole the money, blah, blah, blah. That's how this man now brought out something and rubbed in my hand, rubbed in the driver's hand, and rubbed in the guy's hand, all of us hand. He now, did incantation or something. He now sharp prayed, but I know that prayer was not ordinary. And I just said something, and we now said amen. We now continue the journey again. And I said, oh, how much do I have in my account? So that they will need money for us to be able to access the money, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I have 14,000. And then I had my Stanbic IBTC ATM card with me, because I think my Zenith card had expired. So I was not using my Stanbic account. That was where they paid my salary. Where I worked in my church as a volunteer, they paid me my 2 weeks salary in that account. So they now stopped. They took me to the POS. The POS lady, that's where we we are supposed to withdraw money. The POS lady, the person in charge, the POS attendant, the person in charge was looking at me suspiciously, but I did not just observe because I was literally out of my mind, out of my senses. I didn't even know what was happening to me. I was just basically a mumu that was following instruction. So when the man now said, I was just following instruction. You know when you know what, you can narrate what happened, but you cannot say no when somebody tells you to put you on fire. But you can remember that this is what they asked you to do, but you cannot just say no. You basically just follow instruction. They tell you go, you will go. But you can remember, but you cannot say no. So the man now said, oh yeah, put your pin. The girl was just looking at me like, this girl, you just said they never judge this girl. Because this thing, you see this thing, this one chance kidnapping is very, very, very like, it's something that really happens all the time in Ikeja. It happens all the time in Ikeja. Something I really noticed. So he said, put your pin in. I collected my money. At some point, I drove again and parked at one side, and that's okay. Let's wait for them. They are coming, blah, blah, blah. They are going to. So I don't even know what happened. They now left me and the other guy in the car. I don't know what the driver and the other Afa went to discuss about. When they came back, then that's okay. They are going to drop me. When they collected my phone, at this point, they said we should bring our phone. That we should give them our phone. They collected our phones. They had already collected my money. They've already taken my money. So they said, don't worry. After discussion, they came back and just drove out of that spot and dropped me and told me, oh, they will come and pick me. Like, don't worry. They took everything, even my handbag, like every single thing in me, and they just dropped me. I stood there at the bus stop like a fool for a very long time. Oh, I was now looking. I was now waiting. I said, these people, are they not coming back? They dropped me. They said I should wait for them. They are going to come and pick me. Do you know? After a while, it just dawned on me that I was duped. I was robbed. I was scammed. My eye just opened. I started crying. I was like, tears did not come out immediately. I was just dumbfounded. Like, I'm like, what just happened? It just dawned on me that, oh, babe, they've robbed you. They've literally robbed you. Jesus Christ. What just happened? How I even find my way back to the place that I had my interview back home. I went to a woman that is really, like, she has a store close to where I alighted from the bus, where they dropped me, right? I went to meet this woman and I narrated the event that just happened. She felt really bad. She now gave me 500 naira. She get a bus that would take me. She asked me, where are you coming from? And I said, I'm coming from so place, so church in so place. She now said, don't worry, from here to here, take a bus going to this place. Inside this bus too. And I started narrating what happened. I narrated what happened to me, my experience, the event that just happened. I just played this. They say, it happens a lot in this Ikeja. We are so sorry. They even gave me money for transportation. Some even paid my transport. And then when I go back to the church, I now told them that this is what happened. They say, no, that it has happened to a lot of them too here in church. That they've been trying to reach me to know what support. I wasn't responding. That it's not ordinary. That this thing happened to a lot of people. So I shouldn't blame myself. That's why they gave me That's why they gave me money to use for my transportation fee and to return back to the house. When I go home, I'm like, God, I left my home this morning for a job interview, only to return home with no cash, no ATM before I actually went to meet that woman to give me money. I think she gave me money and then she asked me to go and block my ATM card immediately. Thankfully, luckily, there's actually a Stanbic IBTC bank. Yes, they dropped me exactly at like opposite the bank. So I went there and I just applied. I blocked my ATM immediately. And then when I returned back home, I sat down for a while. I now narrated the experience, what I just experienced to my sister. She just comforted me and told me not to worry that happened to her at some point. So she just told me not to worry, to just be calm, that God is going to provide. Because I was just there at that point, no money, no phone, no job. And guess what? They never called me back. They even assured me that because of what happened to you, we are going to call you back. Maybe you're going to stay with your boss for a month before you now sort out your accommodation issue. They never called me back. I didn't get the job. I did not have a phone, no money. I I was just left empty, no feedback. Be careful, be really, really careful, especially now that we are in the festive period. A lot of these things are happening. So be very careful, be very, very careful. Do not go out with people you do not know. And if you must go out, please. I've told you now how they stole my food in church. That has taught me a lot of lessons, that do not trust anybody. So because you are in the church, doesn't mean everybody is in the church are all sent. They are thieves, they are bad people. A church is a place where, in fact, I think when they even stole my food in church, I remember this incident, and when it happened, the next day I lost my YouTube channel. So I think that pain and the grief and everything just made me stop attending church services. Till date, I have not even stepped my foot in a church building. Till date. The last time they stole my phone, I have not stepped my foot in a church building. So just stay safe and be very careful, because a lot of these things happen a lot of time here in Lagos, and it's always happening in Ikeja. So if you're going to Ikeja, whether you want to shop for a gadget, be careful, because I heard that they sell a lot of fake items. So be careful. If you want to go and shop in Ikeja, hold your items very well. Be very, very careful, because there are a lot of bad people out there. And just always pray that God guides you. Whatever you believe in, pray that you go and come back safely. Now, what's the moral lesson? I should be grateful, because I'm lucky that I wasn't even raped. What is phone? What is money? And the thing did not really pay me that much. Yes, this is my last phone. He paid me, right? Because I was in church. But this one did not even pay me that much, because I just said, you know what? What's phone? What's money? I can always get these things back, right? So I was hoping they would call me, but they did not call me, and I was really heartbroken when I didn't get a call back or a feedback from the church to come work for them, So I'm like, what if they had raped me, right? What if they had raped me? What if they had used me for ritual? What if so many bad things happen to people. I know of a cousin that they kidnapped and they were asking for a ransom at that time. This thing happened maybe 2017 or 2016 or 17 or 18. Yes, or maybe 19. They actually kidnapped her and they were asking for a ransom of 1.5 million, or maybe less than #1 million. So what if something bad had happened to you? Thank God that you're safe. You were not kidnapped. You were not even raped. You were not used for rituals. You did not see. At that point, I was really, really grateful to God. It was such, a humble or a humbling experience for me. Trust me. I really felt grateful that God, thank you that I'm alive to tell this story, because so many people have actually, encountered this before. They've had this encounter, but they are not even alive to tell the story. So just be careful. That's the end of the story. This video is 23 minutes long. Yeah. I'll see you in my next video. By the way, if you're seeing me for the very first time, my name is Esther Sunny. I'll see you